Well, well, well. Look who finally made the whole damn planet shut up and stare. Now everyone's screaming like it's the end of the world. How the hell did you even do that? You didn't just win, did you? You detonated the playing field. You embarrassed their entire bloodline. You wiped out everything they stood for, and you did it with a smirk. Let's get something straight. That was not a victory. That was a one-man extinction event. You didn't climb the mountain. You blew it to hell so they'd never climb again. You didn't beat the odds. You humiliated the system that wrote you off. Now they're panicking, shaking, vomiting, reporting to each other like it's a military emergency. Because the one they all laughed at? Yeah, you just declared psychological war. And no one was ready. They thought you were weak, disposable, background filler in their highlight reel. A stepping stone. But you were the freaking landmine they stepped on while smirking. You were the nuclear code hidden in plain sight. You were the quiet one they should have never ignored. And now, it's too late. Because you didn't just win. You erased their names from history so hard even Google said, "Who?" See, the game was rigged from day one. And yet you cracked the code like it was child's play. They had money, status, support. You had rage. You had vengeance. You had scars deep enough to make hell cry. They had rules. You had nothing left to lose. And when someone like you has nothing left to lose, the whole world is at risk. You didn't come back. You invaded. You didn't rise. You unleashed. And now they're whispering in corners, trying to explain what the hell just happened. Bro, did you see that? He destroyed them. Wait, how the hell did he even do that? Dude, that wasn't normal. That was some god-tier shit. Good. Let them talk. Let them tremble. Let them piece together their broken little egos while you stand there unbothered, untouchable, and unchained. They can't rewind this. They can't downplay this. You didn't just change the game. You ended it, burned the rulebook, slapped the judge, stole the crown, and now they have one choice left: bow or vanish. This wasn't luck. This was pain, rage, and silence sharpened into execution. This was every betrayal, every backstab, every insult, turned into pure psychological annihilation. They should have killed you when they had the chance. Now, you've become the very force they can't stop. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Oh, they're still gasping, still clutching their pearls, still stuck in disbelief like the whole damn simulation glitched when you rose out of nowhere and turned their legacy into a laughing stock. Good. Because this is where the real insanity begins. You weren't supposed to get this far. You weren't supposed to breathe past your breakdown. They threw every demon, every failure, every betrayal, every lie they could find at your chest, at your back, at your freaking throat. And you know what you did? You ate it, swallowed the poison, choked on your own blood, and grinned. Because deep down, you knew what they didn't. You weren't built to win. You were built to end dynasties. Understand this. When people scream, "How did you even do that?" They're not asking out of curiosity. They're begging for a sense of control, because your existence just shattered their illusion of superiority. You weren't trained in their halls. You weren't chosen by their gatekeepers. You weren't crowned by committee. You made a throne out of your own ashes, and now the same people who said you'd never make it, they're working overtime to study your formula. Too bad for them. You are the formula. You are the glitch. You are the virus in the software, the ghost in the machine, the walking contradiction that proves it's all fake, until you showed up. They've got degrees, you've got demons, They've got followers, you've got fire, they've got backup, you've got a vendetta carved in your soul like scripture. You didn't show up to participate, you showed up to devour. And when you walked into their precious little battlefield, you didn't fight fair. You fought like someone who's been dragged through hell so many times. Hell got tired and kicked you out. That's why they can't process this. It wasn't just domination, it was disintegration. You took everything they thought made them powerful. Status, ego, influence, control, and you burned it in front of them without blinking. You didn't just outperform, you disrespected the very laws of their power structure. And when they screamed, "How? Why? Who gave you the right?" you laughed and said, "I took it." This is the part they never prepared for. See, most people train for success. They plan for applause. They hope for validation. You trained for WR. You planned for betrayal. You didn't hope. You prepared to be hated. And then you made hate your fuel. So while they were falling apart the moment things got hard, you were becoming the storm they could never survive. And now, they're trying to figure out how to erase you, how to discredit you, how to explain away what they just witnessed like it was some kind of fluke. But deep down, they know the truth. They didn't just lose, they got exterminated, humiliated, digitally buried by someone they used to laugh at. You didn't just make them irrelevant, you made them forgettable. Oh, now it's beautiful. Now it's delicious, because they're not just confused anymore. They're terrified. Their hands are shaking. Their voices are cracking. They're pacing in circles, whispering like you're a ghost who wasn't supposed to come back. But you didn't come back, did you? You came for the reckoning. You see, they thought they were untouchable, too protected, too perfect, too propped up by the system to ever truly fall. And now they're watching everything they built implode like a cheap circus tent in a hurricane. Thanks to you, the anomaly, the error in their blueprint, the living contradiction that turned their fairy tale empire into a smoldering horror show. They didn't just lose, they got violated, psychologically, emotionally, reputationally, publicly. You stripped the titles off their necks like plastic jewelry. You kicked their credibility down a flight of stairs and filmed the fall. You dragged their arrogance by the roots and left it bleeding out in front of the same crowd that used to worship them. This ain't rising above. This ain't growth. This is spiritual execution. You didn't just erase them, you made their existence embarrassing. And what's worse, you didn't break a sweat. No tears, no apologies, no warnings, just surgical obliteration delivered with the kind of calm that makes devils nervous. You didn't scream, you didn't beg, you didn't even blink. Because this was never about applause. It was about making sure they never forget what happens when you gamble against someone with nothing left to lose. They want to understand now. They want to reverse engineer your destruction. But how do you reverse engineer a storm? How do you analyze the formula for a force of nature? They don't get it. They never will. Because they were raised on praise, fed with comfort, groomed with compliments. You were raised on chaos, starved of love, built in silence, molded in rejection. They were told they were special. You were told you were nothing, and you turned that nothing into extermination mode. And now the room's gone cold. Because it's not just about what you did, it's about what you've become. You are the cautionary tale now. The whispered warning, the myth they tell their prodigies. Be careful who you overlook, because if they snap, you won't just lose. You'll disappear. You didn't flip the script. You set fire to the whole damn theater. And when the ashes cleared, you were standing alone, laughing, untouchable, reborn in the exact fire they thought would destroy you. So let them scream, let them panic, let them try to trace your steps, searching for a blueprint. There is none. You are the glitch they can't patch, the crack in their code, the living reminder that sometimes the villain wins, and sometimes the villain was never wrong. Now let's rip the mask off, shall we? You didn't just expose them, you humiliated their entire bloodline in 4K. You didn't outsmart them. You dismantled their entire identity like it was made of cardboard. And the best part? You made it look effortless. No theatrics, no fireworks, just you. Dead silent, eyes cold, smile locked, delivering judgment like it was past due. Because it was. See, they played dirty, they lied, they sabotaged, they gaslit you. They tried to convince the world you were crazy, broken, unstable. And now the world's looking at you, and looking at them, and realizing you were the prophecy, and they were the parasite.